Hello and welcome to the Asylum. Got it. I'm your host, Don, and with me as always is Jeremiah.
Hi. And we
Um,
got pretty excited last time for the movie we're gonna see. So we got so excited we're gonna see two of them.
yeah, so we decided we would do a double feature for y'all. Uh,
Y'all,
I'm gonna
y'all.
be gone for a undisclosed amount of time. So Jeremiah is gonna be covering my spot on Let's Talk Spoop to keep you guys spoopified. And so we decided to do a double threat, I guess. Yeah, double threat. We decided to do a double threat with the Avengers Grimm to tide you over for your asylum needs. Yeah.
And so that means we're watching Avengers Grimm and Avengers Grimm Time War. Yeah. So
yeah.
the first one came out in 2015. It is written, co-edited, and directed by Jeremy M. Inman. It's produced by the Silent Core stars Casper Van Dien, Lou Ferrigno, Leopoldo, Lauren Parkinson, Mylin Sarley. That sounds like someone that Ted would call white trash. I'm sorry. And a bunch of others. It's a mockbuster of Age of Ultron, apparently, and Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time is pretty obvious.
Yep.
Age of Ultron, not so much.
Well, I mean, it's Avengers Grimm, Avengers Age of Ultron. Like, it makes sense. So the plot, right? Rumpelstiltskin, played by Casper Van Dien, which I have a love for Casper Van Dien that I cannot explain nor defend. If I see him attached to a movie, I'm probably gonna watch it because I just love Casper Van Dien for no reason. Like, he's not like a fantastic actor by any stretch of the imagination, but I just love him. I think it's because Starship Troopers is probably my favorite political commentary sci-fi film of all time, and he's the main character in it. So that's probably why if I see his name on something, I'm gonna watch it. But yeah, so Casper Van Dien, it is great. So Casper Van Dien plays Rumpelstiltskin. Rumpelstiltskin is leading an army of thralls to try to get to Snow White's mirror. Because apparently Snow White's mirror is not just magical, it can see everything that's going on at all times, but it's also a gate to our dimension.
Yes.
So he's trying to get into our dimension. He kind of succeeds.
Because it's a land without magic where he will dominate.
Yeah, exactly. Because his magic still works here. So he kind of succeeds, kind of fails. It's kind of ambiguous. But him and Snowy end up in our world for an undisclosed period of time. They're very
they don't care. They don't tell you exactly when it was.
They
but
just
he
tell
is
you
mayor by then.
Yeah, they just tell you the time passes differently, but none of the characters aged. So anyway, so Snowy and Rumples end up here, and then it's Cinderella,
Sleeping Beauty,
Rapunzel,
and Red Riding Hood.
And Little Red Riding Hood end up following after. And
the wolf, the big bad wolf.
The big bad wolf is actually a person, sorta. I think that Red says that it's a wolf in a person's skin or something like that. So he's a person, sort of.
He's like a lichen.
He's essentially Rumpel's enforcer. So she's after him, and they all end up getting sucked into our world. And now Casper Van Dien is the mayor of an undisclosed city, maybe New York, LA, not sure.
Not a lot of people in that city.
It's a very sparsely populated city that only has 3 members of the police force.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so they are trying to stop him from.
So according to the official thing, they say 6 months has passed. They don't say that in the movie at all.
Ever. All they say is too long.
I also like to say how she has a hideout in the sewers that they said she always gets lost in these tunnels, even though the hideout's like right at the entrance of one of the tunnels.
Yeah, it's literally at the entrance of the tunnel, and the cop talking to his invisible partner that you never hear nor see. That was wonderful.
Yep. And so they're there, and they kind of form a resistance. They join the resistance. They meet Iron John, who is Lou Ferrigno, who basically has a bunch of blacksmith metal workers who apparently were working on something, probably a building or something, before the new mayor took over, and they all lost their jobs. And
Yep.
he becomes a thrall metal dude. I think he's made out of metal, even though he's just purely painted silver.
I don't
He clanks
think
now and gets
I
really
don't think he's
heavy.
a thrall. So, the thralls, they do a thing where if they're a thrall, they have like eye makeup where
Well, they
their
have
eyes
eyeshadow, yeah.
blacked out. Whereas
Yeah,
Lou
yeah.
Ferrigno doesn't end up getting his eyes all blackened out. He's just silver now. I assume
That
that
can't
what they
be
were
healthy
going
to paint
for,
him.
I assume that what they were going for was like a combination Tin Man and Iron John sort of thing, where he's made out of some sort of metal. He clanks when he walks, and he talks in an echo.
Yeah, I
But
don't know why. Like, even if you're made out of metal, why would you talk with an echo?
because it's like,
That has to do with reverb outside.
oh man. But I think that like this was supposed to be kind of showing a difference in Rumpelstiltskin's powers, right? So like he can apparently conjure things out of nowhere. He can turn people into thralls who just like do what he tells them to do with no thought or control. He can
And he's been
like
turning most of the city into thralls and having him in like little shelters all around town for when he
yeah,
takes over the rest of the city.
and then he can like not he can like essentially cloud people's minds like he does to his secretary.
Assistant.
Yeah, secretary slash assistant lady. And then he also makes deals with people, which goes back to like the old Rumpelstiltskin story where he makes a deal and then that gives him power over you, which is I think what he did with John, because what he does to Little Red Riding Hood is Little Red Riding Hood is clearly a thrall,
And the
whereas
princesses can't be thralls because they are immune to his thrall power
because they have
thing.
princess magic. Although I'm not sure what
Snow White
Rapunzel.
has ice magic, apparently.
Yeah, so Snow White is Elsa. Sleeping
Sleeping Beauty
Beauty
can turn people to sleep.
and wake them up. Those are her
Mhm.
two things. Cinderella, not really clear what she does.
Rapunzel has a ball bearing in her hair.
Yeah, Rapunzel, I don't know what her magic is, but she can apparently use her hair as a weapon. And it's got like a ball bearing in the end. She tries to fight Iron John twice with that.
And Red Riding Hood
Really,
is Hawkeye.
yeah, and Little Red Riding Hood's Hawkeye, like 100%. Absolutely Hawkeye. But yeah, so the idea is that these princesses, these Disney princesses, for lack of a better way of putting it, Grimm princesses, band together and form an Avengers team and bring down Rumpelstiltskin, who's Ultron. Conceptually, I loved it. This is a great concept. Like, I love
Yeah.
this idea. I would have seen it in theaters. Like, it's a great idea. The story is not bad. It's a little bland, but it's not bad.
Good
Um,
concept, yep. And
yeah.
Casper Van Dien is hamming it up like he always does,
Well,
which is
he's
good. Lou Ferrigno is hamming it up like he does. So the guy who plays the wolf, that's Kimo Leopoldo. He is an MMA fighter, a UFC
oh,
fighter. He
that makes
retired
sense.
he retired in 2011.
Yeah, he reminded me very strongly of the Novak from Battlestar Wars. No, not the Novak.
Yes.
Sorry, Darth Vader ripoff. You very strongly reminded me of the Darth Vader ripoff from Battlestar Wars. I am incredibly jealous of every one of Casper Van Dien's outfits in this movie.
Even though some of them clearly came from Starship Troopers, like, dude, you just borrowed some of Neil Patrick Harris's outfits.
I would love the robe that he wears in the opening. Like, I would wear
The
that
gold
around
one.
the house. Yeah, I would wear that around the house without hesitation. It's wonderful.
So with this one, their main goal is they have to break how should I put it? They're trying to get to the heart. They're trying to break Rumpelstiltskin's powers. and they do it by essentially killing him by having Snow White impale herself with an icicle, kill the Rumpelstiltskin, and all thralls become free, and they're like, "Oh look, where are we? How did we even get here?" And then they can't go
Yeah.
home because they break the mirror as they go.
Well, so first of all, the way Rumpelstiltskin died is probably the most painful way I can imagine. Like, okay, first of all, you have to imagine that you can travel in between dimensions, right? But essentially, he is halfway between both the dimensions, and the portal that he's traveling through just like snaps shut on him, and he disintegrates, which sounds incredibly painful. It's like
And yeah,
it's like using the gates in Wheel of Time to kill people with. Like same dealio. Like that sounds
but
horrible.
the movie itself, though, compared to other ones, it looks, actually, it looks pretty much just like all of them. On par.
Sharknado level. Sharknado level
On
special.
par. The music, like, oh look, they actually went for something more upbeat music wise. You could recognize music right away. It's filmed pretty fugly. It always is. But the concept is fun and works. Now the princesses, one of them always looks like she smells a fart.
Yeah, Snow White looks like somebody rubbed smelling salts underneath her nose before every time they put the camera on. She's just always. It actually, funnily enough, it reminds me of Kirsten Stewart as Snow White in Snow White and the Huntsman.
And there is another movie that they did that mocks that movie.
Yeah, but it reminds me of her, like her face in that movie, where she's just the whole movie is just like, that's Snow White. She just terrible, always looks angry or upset because she's smelling something stinky.
Cinderella, I can't really place. Sleeping Beauty, she has, I noticed teeth issues, but like she's probably the most natural of them all, except a lot of the princesses are clearly reading lines as they go.
Yeah, Rapunzel sounds like she literally read the line right before she speaks. Like there's no emotion in her lines at all.
And Red Riding Hood clearly has the ability to sheath the sword while she's jumping in the midair before landing. I find it interesting. So Jack in this movie, he's played by Jonathan Medina, who is a tennis player from Venezuela.
Huh.
Yeah. Huh. Oh my goodness. Someone's gonna point this out. So Mylan Charlie, from the one who's Cinderella, she's part of Team Unicorn. It's they do spoof songs like from Katy Perry songs and Meghan Trainor, and they've done Adult Swim stuff. The
Gotcha.
Team Unicorn Saturday Action Fun Hour.
Gotcha.
Oh my goodness, that's kind of hilarious. But the movie, I like the concept enough that I was definitely engaged. Is it a good movie? Like, would I see it on a big screen? No, I wouldn't see this on a big screen. It needs to look way better for me to care. If you saw it on a big screen, it would probably look worse.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I love Casper Van Dine a lot.
We have to talk about my favorite scene though.
Mean when Lou Ferrigno learns to fly? He like jumps out of a skyscraper window and it doesn't die.
So
you blink, it's like, what happened?
They get him to chase after them, and Snowy makes an ice sheen on the ground that he instantaneously slips on, and then it's just like this awkward cut, and it's just like him flying through a wall out of skyscraper, just with the amazing special effects that Asylum is known for.
I looked away for just a second, and next thing I know, he's like launching out a window, and you're like, what the heck just happened? And he doesn't die.
But he doesn't die. He does die when a building falls on top of him, but he doesn't die from falling out of the building.
Yeah, I'd say this movie is fine. It's probably I saw this on one of the top of like the best movies that Asylum has done on the top list of theirs. It's not the top one. That one belongs to Transmorphers, and we'll get to that one. Transmorphers is listed on the top of nearly everyone's list. We'll find out why. But
I enjoyed this film. It's up there with. I would put it. I don't know if I like Mega Shark versus or Mega Python versus Gatoroid better, but it's probably
trashier, but the concept here is way better.
yeah. And also I love Casper Van Dien, so I would probably put this as so far, but we haven't talked about the sequel. So far, the best Asylum film we have watched, in my opinion.
And with yeah, I'd say it's the best concept. It's one that I would read in a book.
Yeah.
I
Like,
read,
I could see
urban
this.
fantasy trash all the time.
Yeah, me too. I could see this having been a plot that they would have used in Once Upon a Time, honestly.
Which is what it's spoofing, so or mock busting, I should say, not spoofing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I would recommend this movie, actually.
I actually told the idea of it to my spouse, and like, I want to watch that with you. It didn't happen, but
yeah. This one's watchable. You just got to be prepared. It's Asylum, so you got to be prepared for the bad special effects and the bad acting. But unlike a lot of the other Asylum films that we have watched, this one had a coherent plot the entire time. Like they had a plot, they stuck to the plot, it all made sense, and they set it up from the beginning and they ended it well. So I would recommend this movie. Definitely.
Yeah. The next one is called Avengers Grimm Time Wars, 2018 mockbuster, same director, stars Eric Feltes as Rumpelstiltskin, a different Rumpelstiltskin apparently, Lauren Parkinson as Snow White, Mara Fairclough as Sleeping Beauty, and Elizabeth Eileen as Red. I think those are all the same ones, maybe, except Rumpelstiltskin.
I'm not sure about Red, but Snow White and Cinderella were definitely the same actresses.
Elizabeth Peterson plays her in the other one, but that could also be a married name. But we'll find out. I don't know. They look close enough that I didn't really care. But everything else has changed. The other ones aren't there. They just kind of write them off. And this one basically.
They never explain what happened to Cinderella. She's just not there.
They just say that this mirror verse came and took her. So here's what happened. So the first film, years have passed. First film, the mirror broke. Yeah. Scatters shards of mirror across the world to combat threats to the fairy realm. There's a Looking Glass organization founded, led by Alice, whose sanity is basically maintained by her drug dealer known as Hatter. The princesses in red work to locate fragments to rebuild the portal to go home, even though they only had a small piece anyway. However, power-crazed ruler of Atlantis.
They broke the small piece at the end of.
And so they're trying to find the small pieces of the small piece.
Yes.
The power-crazed ruler of Atlantis, Magda the Mad, is threatening the world in her hunt for Prince Charming, who didn't die in the first one when Rumpelstiltskin took that kingdom, to force him to marry her so she can get his ring, which will quite literally make it so she can rule everywhere. A different Rumpelstiltskin allies with Magda, or so they think, in exchange for Atlantis. Snow White is revived from her, like, frozen slab. Yeah. Again, it looks like the tank from Battlestar Wars, where the... this is different lighting, where, what's his name?
Pretty sure it's
hiding.
Hell.
Revive the combat the threat. I know you like this movie more than the first one.
I did.
I didn't like this movie more than the first one. What? I hated the Atlantean look.
What? Okay, so first of all, Magda the Mad is this crazy hybrid of Ariel, Ursula, and King Triton, all rolled into one crazy character that was wearing an outfit directly out of Chronicles of Shannara. But
yeah, let me show this. Let me show this. Okay, Magda the Mad, if you can see her. Yeah. They don't have very many good looks of her.
They don't.
Shannara costumes.
It's like you knew I was going to bring this up.
Right here. She basically wears that.
Literally the same outfit.
Probably got it from MTV, maybe. Probably was cheap.
Probably. But anyway, so Magda, our villain, right, is this wonderful cross of Ariel, Ursula, and King Triton rolled into one. Like, she is this female who wants to marry the king of the world. She carries around the Triton and does crazy things with it, which the powers of which are never explained. And she's also just pure evil and crazy. It's wonderful. She's a great, wonderful. And then the new Rumpelstiltskin.
He's like a stage actor. Like
very clearly a stage actor. And
he
then
enunciates everything.
Everything. It's so wonderful though. Although his motivation and like his actions are never really explained very well until like the end, and it still doesn't make a lot of sense.
He just wanted to make out with Charming.
And also his power is very clearly not as great as the old Rumpelstiltskin, but
he was just ruling the underworld though.
Yeah, he was apparently ruling the underworld. Prince Charming. There's Snow White
there he
again.
is. There's Rumpelstiltskin. I hate these masks. These masks are awful. And if these guys are underwater stuff, why the heck are they wearing Greek armor? I understand why, in general, Atlanteans would be wearing Greek armor, but not when they're ruling underwater.
Because they came out with the outfit.
Though I do like their loafers. Their loafers are awesome.
You got to be comfortable, you know.
There's Magda.
There's Magda. So Rumply is helping Magda to trick Prince Charming into marrying her, and then at the same time, he sends Snowy, Cinderella, and Red.
Prince Charming calls Snow White Snowy. It's his like love name for her, and he is not smart in this movie at all. And he's like Snowy all the time. Like,
but his lines, man, the way, not the way he delivers them, but his dialogue is the best dialogue in the movie. Just, he has great dialogue. He's not a good actor, but he has great dialogue. Prince Charming, I feel like they went.
This is not Elsa, by the way. This is not Snow White. This is Sleeping Beauty.
Why would you choose? Look at Red. Was this the wedding? Yes. Was that the wedding at the end?
What is this? Look at this face. You hire this guy because of this face.
Fact. Anyway, so Prince Charming is by far the worst actor in the movie. I think
Red's
that
not Red. Snow White's pretty close though.
Yeah. I think that Prince Charming, they like went to a local theater and they're like, hey, can we find the understudy for your like main actor? And they're like, yeah, but he's not really good. And they're like, no, we just need somebody. And they're like, all right, well, here you go. And that's Prince Charming. He's the guy who like overacts but also can't act. Like, that's the guy.
Look at this still. Look at Red. Another great face from Red.
Horrible stills. Oh my god. Yeah, that's Snowy. That is her face throughout the entirety of both movies. Like, that's what she looks like.
There's Hatter, the drug dealer.
Like, here she is about to kiss Prince Charming, and she still looks like she smells something horrible. Like, look at it. It's terrible.
Again, you still smell it.
Yeah, it's
my issue with this movie is Alice, who's right here, I didn't like at all.
Yeah, Alice was terrible. She's British, which I guess makes sense. She's essentially Ant-Man.
And like, she can shrink and grow. And I have to say, at the end, they have Charming and Snow White get married by the drug dealer. Just saying.
It's wonderful.
Is she smelling something again?
Yeah.
What am I seeing? What is this one?
That's her zapping Prince Charming in the future.
Sorry, that face is just like coming off of his face.
But okay, so anyway, plot. There's Alice. I hated her so much. Even though she wasn't as bad at acting as Snowy and Prince Charming. I just
Her character was just bad.
Just badly executed. But yeah, so Alice is like the head of Looking Glass, which makes sense. And their job is to take these displaced storybook characters and try to send them back to wherever they came from. And then Prince Charming suddenly appears in our world, and then Magda follows him and somehow manages to bring all of her mermen with her. I'm not really sure how that happened. So then she thaws out Snow White.
Yeah. So she came through a portal to come after Charming, unknown how. And Rumpelstiltskin came from a different world because he's not the same Rumpelstiltskin, but he ruled the underworld.
Which
but
they
she knew
made
it.
a point about multiple times in this movie that he is not the same Rumpelstiltskin. Because Snow White straight up says, I killed you. And he goes, different Rumpelstiltskin. So, like,
different powers.
Yeah, completely different powers.
Except he ruled the underworld for reasons.
He ruled the underworld, and he's like a shapeshifter. He changes. He's kind of like Loki, where he can just change what he looks like all the time. And that's really the extent of what his powers are. But yeah, so he ends up sending the princesses back in time, where we find out that the 7 dwarves are dead, which is heart-wrenching.
I thought he went forward in time.
They both. So they go back in time, and then Magda is like, I'm going to keep sending mermen. I'm going to send mermen back in time to kill them until they're dead. And then the mermen don't come back. So, like, over a period of time, she keeps doing that. And then they kill some mermen when the gate opens. They end up in the future. Yeah, that's about it. I like
when they go back to the graves of the 7 dwarves, which I know was here at the beginning. Go back to the graves of 7 dwarves. So there it is. She goes there, and there's these 7 graves, but then 2 guys pop out, and then she talks about how you got all but 2 of them, even though they're clearly already dead and been dead for a while. And then she infers that there might be some of them still alive because they said there's 2 left. But like, was that 2 bad guys left or 2 dwarves left? I have no idea. But then they go to the future where they see Alice without her drugs and Charming without his hope. It's kind of bizarre, and this is supposed to be Infinity War, which makes no sense. If you've seen Infinity, I loved this scene.
No, it's such a terrible.
If you've seen Infinity War, it makes no sense why this is not Infinity War.
They straight up predicted the end, or they predicted Endgame.
Predicted Endgame.
Just like,
no, this scene, like they're going after people, and she just grows and steps on them, and it's way better than Bigfoot doing it.
And then she like, when they show her as a giant, she's like really daintily stepping. It's hilarious.
Look at that. She smelled something again. Also notice these 2 characters, Red and Sleeping Beauty. Oh, she never calls Aurora. They call Sleeping Beauty. They just got like tighter clothing in this one.
Yeah, they do. It's wonderful. But yeah, so
what is with Red's faces?
Every single picture of Red, she's just making a weird face.
There she is as a giant going dainty.
Yeah, there she is as a giant. So Mad Hatter is her drug dealer, makes her grow bigger or smaller, and she uses that to make herself into Ant-Man. And then he somehow sends her consciousness into the future, which is how they come back from the future to the current time period. It's a little convoluted. But I thoroughly enjoyed this film. Like I said, Prince Charming is just, I love his lines. He's a terrible actor, but I loved his lines. I loved his dialogue. This Rumpelstiltskin was so just wonderfully over the top. It was beautifully done. Alice was terrible. Snow White was terrible.
So looking at this still, you don't see this in the movie. There are clips from other movies in this.
Oh yeah, that's 100% Lord of the Rings down there at the bottom.
Their version of it, probably.
Yeah,
100%. I have a feeling this is like a lot of different Asylum movies. This one right here, I believe, is the Snow White one that they did, called Grimm Snow White.
Yeah, because they like essentially what they say is that various different stories. So not just the world Snow White comes from, but various different stories are crossing over into this one. So like they really set it up even for a third movie.
And they probably will if they get whenever we get another Avengers movie. I will say this: the concept still works. Rumpelstiltskin is still fun to watch.
Wonderful.
Charming is cheesy as heck, especially since okay, so what Rumpelstiltskin's thing at the end is hilarious. So they have this wedding where you're trying to get Magda to marry him because they go to the future and realize that she married Charming and got what she wanted, and then they find out at the end that the person that Magda's trying to marry, the Charming's marrying the Magda, is actually Rumpelstiltskin, and he was going to marry the prince to get all the power anyway.
Yeah.
And this whole time you thought he was working with Magda because he wanted Atlantis, but he was also helping the princesses because he's Rumpelstiltskin. And he was just bored of ruling the underworld.
Yeah. So he's playing all sides. And then it turns out he would have failed in any of the timelines.
Which is hilarious. They do have some okay special effects in this one. There is some okay destruction. There's not. This one has less extras than the first one, but probably better characters. Though, if you like Casper Van Dien versus this one, it doesn't really. They're both very different characters.
Go back. There it is. Red is strapped. Look at her. She's dual wielding pistols and she's throwing grenades in the world of Snow White. Just
yes, it was awesome.
She's always strapped. It's wonderful.
It was awesome. So this movie, if you liked the first one, you'll probably enjoy this one. If you don't like this one, you may enjoy the first one because it has different characters. Like Lou Ferrigno and Casper Van Dien, this one add a different sense to it. First one is definitely feels more Once Upon a Time. This one feels more like they went more original with it, which helps. I'm just going to. There's 104. There's more pictures for this movie than exist for every other Asylum movie we watched combined. I do not know why. Like, what is the point of this blurry picture?
And some of them are absolutely terrible.
Like this?
Yeah. Or everyone where
Red. Why are you smiling?
Don't know.
I don't remember this.
That's when they come out of the water.
Oh, I must have blinked. A lot of stuff in this movie happened very fast.
Yeah, the movie's pretty fast paced. I feel like they could have elongated it instead of doing the standard hour and a half.
Who the heck is this? That must be the director.
That's no. That's the guy that finds Charming at the beginning.
Oh yeah, very first shot of the movie. Sorry.
And he immediately gets murked, just immediately.
Immediately
from
murdered.
Behind the scenes. Anyway, so as you guys have noticed, Jeremiah not as big of a fan. I loved it. This hit like all of my just like cheesy, great lines. Just it hit everything for me. I lied when I said that Avengers Grimm is the best one we have watched so far. This one is the best one, in my opinion, that we have seen so far. I just
wait till we see Shark Side of the Moon.
We're not.
I will save that for when you get back. And we will watch it together.
They want to give it to us early?
No. Oh, we will watch Shark Side of the Moon together.
Oh, we got news. So what he's talking about, we got contacted by the third party that promotes Asylum films. What was their name again?
I have to pull up the email, but the people, the company that works with to promote Asylum movies, to promote their movies by getting some of them early to get early screeners. One of their next ones comes out next week, or no, Friday. Comes out Friday on Tubi, called Shark Side of the Moon, which instantly, you know me, I'm watching. It's called Shark Side of the Moon. The trailer actually looks good though. The trailer looks good though, and it has a Tubi budget. And it has a Tubi budget. It clearly has budget because it looks
just like Sharknado. Well, Sharknado had a
no, like War of the Worlds
666
and War of the Worlds Annihilation.
Yeah. Anyway, so we got contacted by the third party promoters to pre-screen some Asylum films. I was very excited because Shark Side of the Moon looks glorious. It looks like a masterpiece. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the pre-screener before I am going to be unavailable. So we're not going to get to pre-screen that one, although I'm hoping that Jeremiah can get us some posters.
I'm working on that.
But yeah, so that's really cool. They said that somebody recommended them to us. I don't know if that's a true statement or they just found us online, but it's really cool that Asylum may be sending us some early films that we will definitely 100% talk about. It's going to be great.
And when you get back is when we'll watch Shark's Side of the Moon.
Oh, absolutely.
There's zero way that I am not covering that. I will wait till you get back before I watch that masterpiece. I haven't shown it to my wife. My wife says, this is like made for you. I'm like, I know.
Yeah,
No,
go
this
see
is-
the trailer. It's wonderful.
I watched Sky Sharks because it was made for me, even though that movie's clearly not made for me. There's way too much random nudity and gore that makes no sense. But clearly Shark Side of the Moon is. But
Yeah,
as far as this
so,
one goes, I'm into more Avengers Grimm. There is another Grimm movie that they did called Grimm Snow White, which is tied somehow, but not because the Snow White's blonde, but it's maybe it's tied because it was in that mirror shot in Time Wars. I have a feeling they're going to continue doing this because it is their more successful series, especially compared to some of the ones that we'll talk about in the future, like Age of Hobbits. I got him in trouble. That's an actual movie. We'll talk about it eventually. But I will say out of the ones we've watched, the Avengers Grimm ones will be at the top, above Mega Shark, well, not Mega Shark, Gatoroid versus Mega Python versus Gatoroid. I definitely put them at the top so far.
Yeah,
and the concept's fun.
Finally unseated Mega Python versus Gator. Finally found something better.
It's a good concept that I would read in a book or a comic, and I've clearly seen 2 movies for it, and I'm willing to see a third.
I would
Are they masterpieces? No.
I 100% would recommend these. We watched them on Tubi.
Yes. Those are available in lots of places, though.
Yeah, they are. So if you're looking for like a good, just kind of hanging out with your friends, watching something that doesn't matter sort of night, strongly recommend watching these 2 films.
And if you like Casper Van Dien, yes, watch it. Because he is exactly what he's like in every other movie he's in. And I love it. But on that note,
forever.
I will be doing Spoop for the next foreseeable future. And when Don gets back, we will watch Shark Side of the Moon, which is on Tubi starting this Friday. I am excited to watch it, and I will promise I will not watch it before.
Better not. I'll be upset.
And maybe we can watch it at the same time and just like record our reactions as we go.
Dude, it would be wonderful if we could like set up a watch party for that. Oh.
It is possible. And I think it would be a lot of fun. And but yes, that is Avengers Grimm and Avengers Grimm Time Wars.
I might have to force Adele to watch the Shark Side of the Moon.
That could be fun.
My wife is a wonderful human being. She has watched the entirety of Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, Halloween, Scream, all of them with me, just so that she can spend time with me because she's wonderful and she hated every moment of it. So
that's how it works.
Anyway, no Wheel of Asylum today. We are nixing the wheel because we're going to be watching Shark Side of the Moon on our next review.
Yes, we have to. But on that note, so long for now. We'll be back with more Asylum in the future, but Spoop will definitely be happening. Though, of course, with me, the types of movies I watch are slightly different. Okay, very different. Because I'm a pansy. But Halloween is coming up soon.
Higher caliber.
Halloween is coming out soon, and so maybe I'll do the challenge, or actually that got kind of brutal last time. But we'll see what we watch. Sometimes I just go random. Oh, terrible. I do that sometimes. Hopefully I don't accidentally watch some Asylum movies in there. But I don't know. Farewell, guys. And if you have a question, comment, concern, or just want to tell us your thoughts, leave it in the comments. And if you see Shark Side of the Moon, you can also leave it in the comments, and we will see if we agree with you when we come back.
Okay, thanks. Bye.